बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम या फत्ताह या फत्ताह या फत्ताह अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व बारिक वसल्लिम रब्बना ज़िदनी इल्मा रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।
Walaikum
Walaikum
salam.
salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so today we start with a quick recap of past passive, al-madi mabni al-majhul, and I want Sister Samia to give me the steps how to convert a normal madi to madi mabni al-majhul.
Okay, so first you make sure it's in hua form, and then you get the second to last letter, and you put a kasra on it.
Okay,
And then
sister, it's not
yeah.
necessary that you always convert it into a hua form, but you
Mm-hmm.
should have a hua form in your mind so that you can
Yeah.
identify the letters. So
Yeah.
converting into the form, you're saying that you are converting always a hua form into madi. So whatever the form you have to convert it into a mabni al majhul. So it could be huma, it could be antum, it could be anan hanu, anything, right?
Okay. So if you have hua form in mind, then you will know which one the second to last letter is, which
Yes.
one the extra one is. Okay. And then all the other letters before that, you change it to a dhamma,
Mhm.
except for the ones with the sukoon on it.
Okay, very good. And then you have your mabni lil majhul. Very good. Sister Parveen Maruf, can you please give me the steps for mudari mabni lil majhul, please?
Mudari mabni lil majhul is you give everything is you give everything dhamma
Where do we start
before
with?
uh, the the huwa form.
No, no, no. We do not start from the hua form. Okay, so when talking about madi, we start from the second last letter. When we're talking about mudare, we start from the first letter.
The first letter, okay. It's 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 like this, isn't it? You give it the dhamma, the u, and then everything else gets the fatah,
And
the fatahs
at up till
up till the last letter, and if it's sukoon, then we leave it.
no, we do not change the haraka on the last letter, neither in madi nor in mudare. So everything that we are changing is pre the last letter, right? So in Mudarim Mabni al Majhul, we get the dhamma to the first letter, and all the other letter will get the fatha. So it will be u a
Yeah,
sound, and the last letter will not change. And in both cases, if we have a sukoon, then sukoon remains unaffected. So this is how you convert your Mudarim Mabni al Majhul, Mudari to Mudarim Mabni lil Majhul. So today we'll start a new topic which is naibul fa'il, inshallah. I would like Sister Samia to please read for us.
Ustad, I'm just getting my daughter ready. She's going
Okay, sorry,
nursery.
no, no, I'm sorry, fight. Sister Parveen, can you please read for us?
okay. I'll just blow away for this. Sorry.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see the screen. Yes. Naibul file. Record that Naibul file is the done to. In the sentence, the cake was eaten. The word cake is sorry.
Naibul fa'il.
The cake is the Naibul file. Through the roles of or roles differ. The grammatical rules of the Naibul file are exactly the same as the rules of the file. Let us refresh. There are
Okay,
two
stop
types of
here.
sorry.
Okay, so Satim is saying that as we studied before, naibul file is something where the action is done to, other than the file in the regular fail, which is the doer. So so we say that the grammatical rules of naibul file is exactly the same as the rule of file. So we will see that how these rules apply. Okay, please read.
So there are two types of Naibal file. Number one, inside the Mustatir, if the done to is a pronoun, Number two, outside if the done to is other than a pronoun.
Okay, so there is nothing new here. Similar to outside file and inside file, then we have an outside enable file, inside enable file. The rules
Yes,
the same, that if we have an outside enable file, uh, if we have an inside enable file, it is usually a hidden pronoun inside a fail, which will make it a
yes,
file, and fail and filed. Here will be enable file, majni fail mabni lil majhul and enable file. The same thing applies here. But you have, when you have an other than the pronoun as a doer in that case of a file, then it's done to in the case of pronoun. It's outside done to, right? The only thing new is damir mustatir. Then please do not get confused with the term. And if you cannot remember, if you can remember, well and good. If you cannot remember, just stick with the inside and the outside naibul
yes.
file. Please
But
read.
can we say inside doer and outside doer in this case as well,
No, no,
like
no.
we did with the
Inside done to and outside done to, not doer. Because doer is
okay,
file and done to is the concept, a difference between file and naibul file is the doer, is the one that is performing the act. Naibul file is
yeah,
something that the action is done to. It's not the active
yeah,
performer of the
yeah,
action, but the action is done to
done
that
to
person or that thing. Like in the example given, the cake was eaten. So the
yes,
cake was eaten. The cake was not performing an action, but it was action was performed on the cake. So
yes,
that is your um,
Naibul
difference between
file,
them. Yes, please read.
inshallah. Yes. When the Naibul file is outside, number one, it must come after the fail. Number two, the fail must be in the huwa or hiya form. And number three, it must be marfu. Okay, so that's same, isn't it?
Yes, it is same. So is any confusion?
No, so it will be same as the way when we used to look for an outside doer in the rafa form in the fail madi before. So that's the rule that will apply here as well then.
Is present, but the difference is that it's not the doer, it's your done to. Because the
Yeah, done to.
tense is
Sorry. Yes,
majhul, not an active one.
yes.
Please keep on
Okay.
reading.
Inshallah. In the sentence nufirna, for example, the naibal file is the inside pronoun nahnu.
Mhm.
In the
So,
same sentence,
yeah. Nanu Nasarna, we all know, ne? Yeah.
so in the sentence nusira al muslimuna, the naibal file is al muslimuna. Notice that it is after the fail, which is the huwa form, and it is marfu.
Okay. So we say that Al Muslimuna is Rafa, right? And it is
Yeah,
after our Mabni lil Majhul, Madi Mabni lil Majhul. So it is our Naibul file, but it's an outside Naibul file here,
out,
right? So it's same if we have a Mabni lil Majhul in Huwa Hiya form, then we look for outside Naibul file as well. Okay, there's a possibility that we have an outside Naibul file. This is
so we
simple
say
so
that
far.
the Muslims were helped.
The
That would be
Muslims
the
were
translation.
helped. Yeah, the Muslim were. It's not the Muslim helped. It's the Muslim were helped.
The Muslims were helped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please reading. Do
Um,
the examples, please.
let us take a look at a few examples of passive sentence in the Quran. Uh, Duriba masalun. So Duriba is huwa. So we have to look for an outside file in the
Not
rafa form.
file. Not file. What's the
Sorry,
duriba?
no, sorry,
U
naibul
e
file.
side.
Sorry.
Yeah. U e sound. It is our passive.
Yeah. So it's a naibul file. Sorry,
Mhm.
naibul file in the rafa form outside because it's in the huwa form.
Very good.
So masalun is in rafa form. So that is our naibul file.
So muscle mean example, and daraba means to stuck. So what do we say?
Um, uh, an example
Was
is
struck. Was
was
struck is
stroke.
in the past tense, right? An example was struck.
Stroke.
It will be daraba masalun. It will be an example struck, but
An
it is
example, yes.
duriba masalun, so it is an example was struck. And so here we need to
Example.
be a very careful because passives is used many time in Quran, and if you're not clear, on identifying the passive from the active fail, then you can make a mistake by translating it, and the whole meanings and of the scenario changes.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful in identifying your mabni lil majhuls. Please do the lesson one.
Um, Anzalat suratun.
Okay,
So
if we are
is
studying mabni lil majhul, what should be the haraka on this one?
it should be Dhamma on the first one, and it's not,
Yes,
and it's
it
Kasra on
should be.
the.
It should be the
Yeah.
mana. So why you say unzilat? You should be pronouncing it unzilat.
All right. I didn't see anything, so just assume.
Yeah, that's why
Yes.
you have to assume it right because you are a student of a grammar now.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you cannot make this
Unzilat.
mistake now, right?
Yes, that's true. That's true. Unzilat suratun. So unzilat is in a hiya form as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look for an outside naibul file. And suratun is in rafa form.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our outside naibul file.
Very good. And unzilat means anzala means to send down. So unzilat means was sent down,
Was
and
sent
surah
down.
means
So
surah, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
asura was sent down.
sent
And
down,
if
sent
it
down.
was active, how would you say that?
Anzalat suratun.
And
A surat is sent down.
asura sent down. Send
Yes,
down, not send
sent
down.
down,
Yeah.
sent down.
Very good. Sister Hodma, Assalamu alaikum. Can you please do the rest of the examples?
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. ينزقون فيها.
يرزقون فيها, not noon, isra.
يرز... sorry. يرزقون فيها. So يرزقون
Mm-hmm.
is it's got it's rizq.
But we are not translating, so
Sorry.
you have to give me what it is.
Okay, so it's فعل مضارع
Mm-hmm.
and it is in the passive form
Okay, how did you identify it's in passive form?
because the letters have been changed. Like what you said in the lesson. The first is a yeah. I mean, sorry, a dhamma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then
What is the rule for mudare mabni al majhul?
okay.
Sorry.
So
So not a difficult question. What is the sound or what is the rule for mudare mabni al majhul? What do we look for?
are you asking how do the letters change?
I'm asking about the harakats. I'm not asking about the letter changing.
I'm not the harakas. Okay, so the first of the letters is a dhamma,
Okay, yes.
and then you change all of the others to a fatha,
All of the
except for
other?
the last,
Okay,
ex-
except for the last one, right?
which means the same,
So
and the sukoons don't
and the
change.
sukoon don't change. So we have starting with the u, and we have a sukoon that cannot be changed, and then we have a za which has a fatha. So we have u a sound, and
Hmm.
y qaf has a dhamma.
Was it originally just dhamma?
So why didn't we change it?
Because you just leave the last letter as it was.
Very good. So last letter in this case is qaf, not noon, right? So that's why we didn't change it. So it is yurzaquna is our passive voice, present passive. So if we have yarzaqa means razaqa means to give provision. Yurzaquna means what?
Provision is
Are
given,
given provision.
are given provision. Okay.
Okay, are given provision. And since it is in home form, so do we look for the outside doer?
Yes.
So if we look for the outside doer, and what do we have after it?
Fiha,
Mhm.
which is um فيها. في is in
Mm-hmm.
and ha is her or it.
Mm-hmm.
So in it,
In it. So do we not have an outside doer here, right?
it's not in raf'a state.
We do not have an outside doer because fi is jar and ha is majroor. So it is jar majroor. Okay, so we do not have an outside doer because it's no fail in a rafa form. So
Yeah.
our naibul file is
Our na'ib file is hum.
hum. So that's why we translate it as they are given provisions in it. And if we convert it into a normal mudare, so what? How would you say it in Arabic and English?
يرزقون
Yarzuquna. It
فيها.
is yarzuquna.
يرزقون
Yarzuquna
فيها.
fiha. And how would you translate it?
Um, they were given.
No, why words present?
They they are given provision.
So this is you're talking about mabni lil majhul. I'm talking about normal.
They
Yarz
gave provisions.
They gave provisions because it's a file here, not an naibul file. And file is what? The doer. So they gave, they give, they gives provision, right? They give provision, not s with that. They give provisions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. See, now do the next
Okay,
one.
Father, I'm done now. I
Okay.
mean, she's gone now.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. Good.
sorry, Ustad, the jar majroor fiha, so is that mutalik will feel like we have in the other ones?
Yes, it has mutal. We studied that we have here jar majroor, and what does we call it?
Mutalik will fail?
We call it mutalik will fail, right?
Yes.
So we do
Okay.
not have
Yeah.
mafhool here, but we have mutalik will fail and zarf of time and place.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just make sure.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Sister Hodna, please attend the next one as well because you didn't look very confident doing that one.
Okay. أعدت للمتقين.
Hmm.
Um, so it is again passive because we have the um the first letter is a dhamma, the second letter is a kasra, so
Mm.
it must be فعل ماضي.
It's fail madi. Very good. Very good. Because we have the kasra for the second last letter. Very good. And now please tell me what is the inside pronoun in it?
أعدت, the tells us it's a هي.
It's a hiya, right? So if we have a hiya, do we look for the outside door?
Yep.
Okay. So,
متقين,
mhm.
that would be our outside door.
Okay, what is lil muttaqina means? What does it look like, lil muttaqina? Is a one word or is a fragment or
It's a fragment.
so?
D is two, I think.
So what
The
it
first
is, li is what in terms of grammatical labeling?
it is حروف الجر.
So if we have a huruf jar, then muttaqina is what?
المتقين is it would be جا والمجرور fragment, so حروف
So it is if it's a jar majur fragment, then it can be your naibul file.
no, we need an اسم in رفع form.
So there is no rafa here, right? So there is a jar majur fragment. So we do not have any outside naibul file in this case, right?
Okay,
So
so our نائب الفاعل would be here.
will be here. Very good. So if you look at the translation, it says it was prepared. Oida means to prepare. So oid that means it was prepared. Uh, and lil muttaqina for the God conscious muttaqi people, those who fear Allah or that this is your muttaqi. So it was prepared for the God fearing people or God conscious people. So is that clear? And what it is here in terms of a grammatical labeling, lil muttaqin is
It is the متعلق بالفعل.
mutaliq bil fail. Okay, good. So this is everybody clear on this one?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so Samia, I want you to read from here, finding the naibul file in a sentence.
1. If the fi'l is in the here or huwa form, then it will be mabni. 2. If the fi'l is in the lam or la form, then it will be mansub. 3. If the fi'l is in the lam or la form, then it will be majrur. 4. If the fi'l is in the lam or la form, then it will be mansub. 5. If the fi'l is in the Look at
Mm-hmm.
an outside naibul file.
Mm-hmm.
If there is one, it will be in rafa after the fi'l.
Mm-hmm.
Number
Okay. So what does it mean that if the fail is in the huwa hiya form, we look for the naibul file. If there is a one, it will be in the first rafa after the fail. Same rule as we have for fa'il is for the naibul file. Please read the second point.
number two. If the fi'l is not in the hiya or huwa form, it cannot have an outside naibul file. Do
So,
not look for one.
so okay, if it's not huwa hiya, don't no need to look for any outside file. Okay. Same
Okay.
as for the case for the file.
Number three. Translate the naibul file as the done to or the receiver of the action, whether it is inside or outside.
Okay, so this time something that we cleared first thing when we started studying our Mabni al-Majhul, that we do not have a file but we have a naibul file. A naibul file is someone action is done to. So that's why we have a file and then was were given or are is am with the third participle form of a verb. And because this action is not performing by a naibul file, but it is action is performed on the naibul file. So this is how we translate our passive sentences. So now we'll do the drill. And so what we have to do, what you have to give me what is the fail and what is the naibul file here. And if it is an outside naibul file, then you have to, and then you have to translate the ayah given the word bank. So for first one is Summa ilahi turja'un. I want Sister Parveen to please attempt this part of the ayah.
Okay, inshallah. Summa is harf.
Summa is a
إليه
harf, yes.
إليه جار مجرور. And ترجعون is فعل مضارع للمجهول
How did you
because
identify it? Yes.
it's got the ma on the first and then it's fatha afterwards, and the last letter we leave
Mm.
um,
So, u a
which is
sound gave us it's a mudare mabni lil majhul.
majhul.
Okay. If summa means to then, right?
Yeah,
Then you know the meaning of ilahi. And
yes.
turja'un is from raja'a. So they have not given the
Yeah.
meaning of turja'un. Turja'un, raja'a means, just a second.
Is it return or something?
I know, but it's just
Raji'un,
confirming. I don't want to
alayhi
say.
raji'un.
I just don't want to, you know, say
Yes,
without,
yes.
because it's recording. So some people can get confused. To send back.
Sent back.
Yeah.
So, Summa then ilayhi, to him, uh, they were sent back.
Turjaun. What is the naibul file here? You have to give me file, and
Home,
first the naibul file is a home, right? Home is a
home,
naibul file. So that's why you say. Now
they were
you
sent.
translate it is word by word, but you are a grammatical grammar student. So how would you translate it? What is your observing which is not uh, normal?
Then, then they were returned to him.
But where is you see ilahi is coming before turjaun, which is mutalik bil fail is coming before fail and fail and naibul file, fail majhul and naibul file. So do we have any change in the sequence? Is something not normal?
Is it متعلق بالفعل المقدم?
It's muqaddam because mutalik bil fail always come after the fail, right? So
Yes.
mutalik bil fail is coming before, so it's muqaddam and the fail has been muakhar. So where is your emphasis in the translation? You cannot translate it like and then
Yes.
they were returned towards him only
Him. Only. Yes.
or only towards him
Only towards him. Yes.
or finally towards him or eventually towards him, like something if depending on
Yes.
the other context of the ayah you have to put an emphasis
Yes.
in your translation. a normal translation at this level is not good enough for you. Word by word translation, right? So this the purpose of learning is defeated if you cannot identify that something is not normal here.
Yes.
Okay, so I know it's difficult, but we have to make this habit since we are the students of Arabic now. We cannot just simply ignore it, and this will happen with the practice. Inshallah, the more we practice, the more we get used to it. Inshallah, ta'ala. Okay, Sister Hodma, the nufikha fi surin nafkhatun wahidatun. This is one for you.
This is a long one.
Yes, I've given you the longest one.
Um, نفخ,
Mm-hmm.
that is, I mean, I don't know what the fi'l madi would, the normal active would be version.
Okay, so if without looking at the norm, you not always know that this is the normal version of a fail, but how
نفخ.
would you say that it is normal or it's mabni?
Okay, so I can see here that it's nafakha, but it's been changed.
Do
The
not
first
look
letter,
at anything.
sorry.
You have to identify the mabni lil majhul with the rules that they were given to you. So what
Okay,
is the sounds that you look for when you're looking for a mabni lil majhul? If it's madi and then if it's mudare.
okay. Um, if it is the first letter is given a dam. No, sorry, with a madi,
Hmm.
the last letter was left alone. I think the
Okay. If the last letter is not touched, then why we are concerned about the last letter? What we are looking at is the everything before the last letter.
yes,
So if it is a madi or mudare, beginning is always an u.
with the madi, it was the second letter is given a kasra, and everything before that is a dhamma.
Okay. And what's about the mudare?
Mudari' was first letter is given a dhamma, then all the rest fatha and last left
So what did
alone.
I say? If in case of madi or mudare, first letter is always
Yes, you did. Yeah, now that I think about it, yes.
okay. So a first letter is always dhamma, right? So when you see a dhamma, then you have to at the beginning of a fail, you have to look for as a normal fail, madi mabni al majhul or mudari mabni al majhul, right? So what the
Yep.
giveaway is, if it's in a if there is alif ya nun ta beginning or ending, alif ya nun ta beginning, sorry.
That would be mudari', the four letters.
So there is not. So
Yep.
nufiqa is what? Is our madi or
Madi.
mudari? It's a madi. So now we have to look for it's a normal madi or mabni lil majhul. So for madi mabni lil majhul, what is our sounds that we are looking for? First letter is dhamma.
Then the middle is kasra, and the last is left alone.
Okay. It's not about middle or last. It's not always three letters. So first, all the letters before the second last one are dhamma. So you look for e sound or e sound or e sound, right? So if we have other than dhamma and kasra, then we do not have our madi mabni majhul, right? If any fatha comes in between, then or any dhamma comes in between, then it's not our mabni majhul. So if it's only e sound that we are having before the last letter, it's our mabni majhul. Okay?
Okay.
Are you understanding? Because memorizing the points is not enough. It will not take you anywhere because you are prone to making mistake if you just memorize the points, and that will slow down your process as well. So just try to make logic out of it. Then what is going on? And what's going on is that if we are talking about Madi, Mabni lil Majhul, the sounds we are looking for before the last letter is e, right? So e or e, e, right? So how many letter before that? So we are talking about the u sound and the e sound, and e should come in the end. That's it. So
Okay.
nufikhu is our e sound. That it is our not normal madi but a mabni lil majhul. Now please give me what is the hidden pronoun in it. What is your naibul file here?
Um, Nufikha is in the huwa form.
Very good. So it
So we look for an
look for
outside
we look for outside word.
outside نائب
S-
الفاعل.
Okay, so
Um,
do we have a ism here in a rafa form?
not next to it now.
What is next to it?
jar والمجرور fragment.
So jar majur fragment is not an ism, right?
Yeah.
So whatever we have after it is a jar majur fragment, which is not a ism in a rafa form. We have a ism in a asuri is an ism in a jar form. So we do not have any outside naibul file in here. So what will be considered as naibul file in this case?
هو.
Okay, very good. So huwa and nufiqa, then fisuri is our jar majur, which will become mutalik bil fail. And what is nafkhatan wahidatan?
نفخة واحدة. Um, is it so we have فعل نائب الفاعل and the متعلق بالفعل.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, no. في is مفعول به, and then after that نفخة
Sister,
واحدة.
it's looking like to me that you have either not attended the lectures actively or either you have not revised because you are talking like really basic, really basic. So I recommend you that you go today and revise all the lectures on Mabni al-Majhul because you are confused a lot and I cannot tell you teach you everything from the beginning that we have spent 2 3 days studying on. Okay, you say fisuri is maf'ul fihi, but we studied that there is no maf'uls in mabni al-majhul. So the question of maf'ul fihi is gone. We only have mutalik bil fail. So we have a mutalik bil fail here, which is fisuri. Nafkhatun wahidatun is our first. We consider it as outside doer here, and it is nafkhatun wahidatun is as masuf sifa because they match in status. So when we say nafkhatun wahidatun, they have not given the meaning for this one as well. Let me search for the meaning.
Sorry, Sada. I mean, I did really have a busy week. That's the truth. But
No, no,
my
it's
understanding was that مفعول به cannot come in here because it answers the question who did it, and we don't even know who did the action. But that مفعول فيه could be. Am I incorrect?
we didn't consider maf'ools in this one, right? We considered all the jar majroor as the mutalik will fail. Okay, if that was a confusion, so is that clear?
Okay, so we
No,
have no مفعولs, just a
we
فعل
if we
نائب
have a
الفاعل.
jar majroor, we have mutalik will fails here. Okay, no we do not say it's maf'ul fihi or anything else.
I think the reason they haven't given the meaning is because it comes from nafakha, nun fakha.
Nafakh, yes, that is what you're talking about is yes, is a uh, maf'ul mutlaq, maf'ul hal, sorry. But we have wahidatun as well. So I'm just looking for the meaning of nufqa is swelling and wahidatun is first. Um,
So I would say he blew, right?
he
In the
first blew. Uh, the first
yeah,
blew was given. You know the no,
the trumpet, yeah.
yeah, the first puff was blown. The first puff was blown uh, into the trumpet.
Trumpet.
So nafkhatun wahidatun is our naibul fa'il, and the thing you say that first ism is asuri, but asuri is related with fi, and we consider it is a jar majrur fragment, not an independent ism. So independent ism is here nafkhatun wahidatun, which is appearing as a mawsuf sifa fragment. So we consider it as a our outside doer. Outside naibul file, sorry, outside then too.
So it can come after another fragment.
Okay, we say we look for the first isim in rafa form outside after our fail in the normal form or mabdil majhul form. The first fail isim that we are seeing here is asuri, right? But asuri is connected with fi, which is fi asuri, and we know that fi asuri is what our mutalik bil fail. So this is a mutalik bil fail bracket, and whatever we had after it is nafkhatun wahidatun. It is a rafa. So if it is in a rafa form, then what do we have? An isim in rafa form is our
Outside doer.
outside doer. Asuri is not independent. Asuri is acted upon by the fi. If you if you understand then why we not consider Asuri as a first isim, because Asuri is is affected by the harfijar fi. It's not acting independently. And we know that this is a jar majrur fragment, which is mutalik bil fail fragment in terms of a jumla failure.
Yeah, no, I understand the grammar
This is
coming in between.
confusing. This is confusing, Sister Hodma. Are you getting it? Or do you want me to explain it once more? I can do that.
Please, can you explain it once more? I'm sorry, I'm also being distracted by this little one.
No problem. Inshallah, that is recorded. You can hear it again when
Okay.
in your time. But I'm explaining to you once again. Um, in Nufiqa, we have a fail in a huwa form. So we look for the first isim in the rafa format to find it outside naibul file. But we have the first isim as asuri. But asuri is is a majroor. But it's majroor. Why? Because it's acted upon the harfe jar fi. So it's not an independent isim that we are talking about. So independent isim that we have is nafkhatun and also wahidatun. So nafkhatun is not acted upon by anything. It's representing on its own. And it is rafa. That's why we consider it as our outside naibul fa'il. And since nafkhata is attached with wahidatun, and we say the masuf sifa, so we consider nafkhatun wahidatun both as our outside naibul fa'il, and Fissuri is mutalik bil fail. Sister Parveen, are you clear on this one?
Yes, Ustaz, it's making sense now. You're saying that nafkhatun waidatun as a masuf sifa is a naibul file
Mhm.
for nufiqa.
Outside naibul file for nufiqa. Yes.
Okay, inshallah, yes.
Okay. If you are not clear now, please try to listen to the recording. Inshallah, with the clear head, it will make more sense to you.
Ustad,
Inshallah.
can you explain the translation again if you can, please?
Okay. Nafqatun wahidatun is a single puff was blown into the trumpet.
Okay.
Okay.
Is
So a single puff was blown into the trumpet. Okay,
Yes.
inshallah.
and nufikha?
Nufikha is puff. Like when you make a one puff, when you have a wind instrument, like you when you make your your breath goes through it once, you blow into it. So when you are whistling, you just put a one puff into a whistle, and then it makes a sound.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So single puff is nufikha.
is
Nufikhatun wahidatun.
nafkha is a
So
puff, and
nufikha.
nufkhatun is a rafa, singular rafa form. So it's a first single
The
puff.
single puff was blown is
Yeah,
the nufikha.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Into the trumpet. Okay,
Into the
inshallah.
trumpet. Now, Sister Samia, I want you to do the last two quickly because I have to run.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So we have kutiba.
Mhm.
So we have this fi'l has dhamma and then a kasra after it. So this will be the fi'l madi
مبني المجهول. Yeah.
مبني المجهول. And then we have so because it's ending in a is huwa form. So we're going to look for an outside
Mhm.
fa'il.
Mhm.
So alaykum is a jar majrur fragment. We have ala and then kum.
Mhm.
So this is not going to be our outside doer. This is going to be the mutalik bil fa'il.
Very
So
good.
then we look at the next one. which is an ism because of the al, and it's in rafa form. So this will be our outside
Doer.
doer.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to translate it as so it, he was mandate al
Not he anymore. When we say outside naibul file, then what comes
al
first?
fighting. So yeah, the fighting was mandated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and alaykum upon you all.
Upon
So
you
the
all.
fighting, yeah, the fighting was mandated upon you all.
Very well done. Very good. Now the next one, please.
So لا يقبل. So here we have la, which could be, which is a negation.
Mm-hmm.
يقبل. So we know that this is beginning with ya, so it could be fi'l مضارع. And it's starting with a dhamma, and we have a fatha after it. So this is going to be a mabni al majhul.
Mm-hmm.
It's ending in a dhamma, so we are going to look for an outside
No, not
fa'il.
because of the dhamma. It's a hidden pronoun is huwa.
Huwa.
That's
Yeah,
why we
yeah,
do.
yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. So the hidden pronoun is huwa, so we're going to be looking for the outside. So here we have minha, which is again a jar majrur fragment.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not our outside door, this is mutalik bil fi'l. Then we have a shafa'atun, which is an independent ism ending in rafa.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be our outside doer. So now to translate, qabila means to accept. So the
First thing
outside doer is
first. First
shafa.
thing for outside naibul file,
Outside
right?
doer, yeah. So
Not
I'm going
not
to look
doer. Outside done too.
outside nabil file.
Mm.
Outside done. So intercession. So intercession was not
Was not.
accept. Uh, this
Was
is
not accepted.
present. Present.
Is
Accepted
not accepted.
is not. Okay. So the intercession, not the, just intercession
Mm.
was not accepted. Minha. Uh, min means
From
from her. From
her or
her.
it. Yeah.
From it. From her.
Her or
Okay.
it, right? Intercession is not accepted from it or from her. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody good about this concept after these examples?
Yes,
It's a
alhamdulillah.
similar concept as a file. It's nothing different, but it took you people time because the starting was mabni al majhul and your head was processing it as something new, but this was already something that we have done. So when you revise this once again, this will become very easy for you because there's nothing new with it here. We have so much confidence on what we did because we have done so many quizzes and you all have aced that without effort looking at the outside file. So it's similar for the outside naibul file, but since the starting beginning was the mabni al majhul and that threw you off. So inshallah ta'ala, since we have done this example and when you revise it, it will become a piece of cake for you inshallah ta'ala. So I'm ending the session here.